Okay, we're live.
3, 2, 1. Hello, Internet. I'm Justin Freed, and our episode was called initially due to my illness. Thank you, Paul and Chaim, for sticking with me and joining us on a Monday edition of In 30. And this is our 100 and what episode, Chaim?
77.
Yeah, Chaim, I think for the last 10 episodes you've said 177. So this is potentially our 187th episode, maybe. It's a lot, more than we should really have done ever. Okay, that being said, we're going to talk about some stale news because it's what is in the hopper, Facebook's F8 conference, which ended sometime last week while I was spewing mucus out of my right nostril. Thank you, everyone, for indulging me and sharing that image with you. Okay, so it seems like, let's talk about this first. F8 kind of flew under the radar, no? I mean, Paul, Chaim, are you even excited to talk about it today? Am I dragging you through it?
It's just not for us. It's I look at Facebook as this social network. I don't look at it as what can it do for me. I don't make apps based on Facebook. I don't think about apps based on Facebook. The only thing I wish I could think of is people using Facebook Messenger more, but that's about it.
And Paul, because Facebook didn't talk explicitly about, competing with Google in search and their SEO stuff, were you also similarly uninterested?
I'm uninterested because I don't use Facebook that much.
See, I also am not a super active producer of Facebook content, but just because so many people use it so much and it wastes so much human time, like so many man hours are spent, between pornography and Facebook, that's a good percentage of what a good percentage.
Well,
of
if you want a real
population.
topic to talk about is the use of their curated algorithm to show you the news articles. And
Well, okay.
on some level, I'm really happy when I turn on Facebook and it tells me what's important. On the other hand, I open it a few hours later and it's the same story on top because 30 people commented on it, some inane nonsense, and I want to skip it and I want to see.
All right, let's push that a little bit later in the show. I mean, it's an evergreen topic. It's not specifically related to F8. But we'll get to it. Before I took ill, I was going to have the editor of my newspaper come on to discuss Facebook's overture to publishers hosting their content directly.
Can I complain about the editor of your newspaper for 1 second?
No, you cannot. You can do it later.
I want to say good things, but I have one complaint.
No, you can do it later. Okay, so we're talking about F8. As much as Chaim has tried to derail this show, and as much as Paul is, who knows what he's doing when his hands are not on camera? No one can tell. Okay, so they have this conference. It's a big deal to a huge group of people. And there was one feature that they apparently rolled out as Zuckerberg was talking about it, which is somehow appifying Facebook Messenger. So, Chaim, you want people on Facebook Messenger for some reason. Google Hangouts is not good enough for you. I don't know why. But tell us what this means to you, Chaim. I'm surprised you even said that.
Well, I just remember Facebook Messenger was Beluga way back when our next topic of things that launched by South by Southwest happens. Beluga and GroupMe took the stage to have a battle on group text messaging. But I think GroupMe won, but Beluga was bought by Facebook for, I don't know, back then it seemed like $500 million. But I think Facebook Messenger is the single greatest messaging platform out there.
Paul, what percentage of what Chaim says makes you think of that Pepperidge Farm remembers meme? I just no one cares. Beluga. I mean, South by Southwest, circa 2009. I don't even know. It was early. It was later than that. But I mean, okay, Chaim. So,
Facebook Messenger is good.
It is good. They bought WhatsApp, right? I mean, somehow that's going to get stuck into the picture. But I don't even know what it means that you can download apps through Facebook Messenger now. Does it just mean that Messenger is a form? Like you can just. This is the example that I saw. Like a movie time can be shared directly through Facebook Messenger to a friend of yours.
It's just like Hangouts with the apps. You can watch YouTube videos together, and you can, I don't know, you can draw, you can share each other's heartbeat magically.
I think you're confusing that with another show, Chaim. But I mean, okay, so. The point is, it seems like this is almost a productivity solution, but it's expanding Facebook's typical post text pictures or video or a link and leave it at that.
It's
I mean,
it's Google or not Google. Facebook is getting. I mean, they say they have 1.4 billion users. Facebook generally, I don't think lies about their numbers. They say 1.4 billion users, but 1 billion is active. It's some ridiculously high number. The difference is that they're seeing, and I see this in my students, that Facebook is sort of falling out of favor for other apps, and I think Facebook is just buying them. And I'm not saying anything revolutionary here, and they're just trying to stay relevant and try and fall under their umbrella just to grab the information. I think it's we want to grab this information, we want to silo it, and then we want people to pay us to get it out.
okay, I mean, broadly speaking, that might be their goal, and they do seem to be not on the cutting edge. They're certainly not exciting anymore. They're feeling a little more and more like AOL. But the bottom line is they opened up an API that allows you to integrate with Messenger. It seems to me like this is the type of thing where if they move you away from texts to Facebook Messenger, that's when those cool things that we've seen in those like 2.5-minute YouTube videos where if you say dinner tonight, not only does it let you make a calendar entry, but you can both kind of browse Yelp simultaneously to choose the restaurant, and then the Messenger platform takes care of reminding you and telling you if the person's on time and all of that. I mean, that's what it's alluding to, right? Or am I giving them too much credit? I'll have to find a link to those videos, by the way. But there's a great platform. Okay, let's put the last nail in the coffin on that element of F8. The second thing about Facebook Messenger is that they're taking on Slack, and that there's business to there, or rather not Slack. It's not intra-business communication. They're doing what I think it was called Hello by the creators of Path did, where you can use Messenger to talk to businesses. Paul, could you see yourself going to a business's Facebook page and using Messenger to ask if the hours are still accurate after a snowstorm or if there's a special or something? Versus,
I've done stuff like that in the past where there's obviously someone running a Facebook page, and I've sent a Facebook message to that person. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, when you say it like that, Paul, I don't even know exactly what the difference is between what you described. It's like the Facebook messages to a page. When I get them on my Facebook pages, they're just kind of like stored away. You get a notification, but it is a little bit removed from chat, right? I mean,
it's too hard to switch back and forth, which is really, really annoying. When we're using it for the Highland Park site, it's hard just to comment back because, like you said, it's removed and it's not there, and I wish it would be, so I can respond much quicker rather than waiting till I'm home to see the notification.
So what Facebook apparently said is that it seems like it's actually more of a competitor with email because their example is giving shipping information to a customer through Messenger and letting them talk back and forth through it. So it's like
customer service.
Exactly. So I guess you would give your Facebook username or something, and it kind of works like that business would be like a verified person on Twitter. Their DMs or their messages would go through to you. It's like opt-in email and more linked with your personhood. It's a little weird. I mean, frankly, right?
Well, but why? I guess I'm annoyed that Facebook's telling me that this is how I need to use it, rather than somebody sending me a message. There's really no difference between a message and a post, other than the post is somewhat seen by somebody. I still don't know who, and the message is sent to me where I can't reply immediately. I have to wait until Facebook blesses me.
Well, I mean, if you're shopping for something sensitive, you might not want to make it a post. But at this point, look, this time that this goes to you. This seems like it would be a failed feature of Google Plus more than a Facebook thing.
It just seems like, well, at least on Google Plus, if the page has an email account, which all pages somehow do. It's not easy to find, but it's there. You can log in under that page and get Hangout messages.
Okay, but it seems kind of googly in its like conception.
Fine.
Okay, so so apparently now you can upload videos directly to Facebook and then embed them in other sites. It's like a YouTube competitor. I mean, I can't say there's tons of Facebook obviously prioritized video in their algorithm. Like a couple of months ago, maybe 6 months ago. It's like 50% videos for me. I could see it taking traffic away from YouTube, especially if no one's ever downloaded the YouTube Creator app. They don't even they just it's a second thought. Their pictures and videos go to Facebook.
I don't necessarily want to share I don't want to share a video of my son running around on YouTube. I don't want to do it on Facebook either. YouTube seems like an extra step versus, well, Facebook, I can do it and it'll go. But then I think about it, I really don't want to share it there either for privacy. But I can see people saying, you know what? YouTube seems too difficult, but this is a family thing. I'm just going to put it on Facebook. My entire family's on there. YouTube, I don't know really who's on there. I don't know who can see it. I don't understand the privacy settings. Here you go. We'll put it on Facebook, and I know who I'm friends with.
Well, Paul, considering Chaim's example of not wanting to put his videos publicly, could you see Facebook video being a siloed family way of sharing, like, one-off videos of a kid or a cat or a dog or something?
I think it can be, but I just don't think that's what they're trying to get at.
What's their intention here?
I think they're competing more directly with YouTube. They prior to F8, they started. They introduced a lot of video features. They're obviously trying to get people on the video platform, and they've started. So it used to be that if you included an image in your post, it would appear higher on your news feed, and then since then that's no longer true. But what is true is now videos are given priority on the news feed.
But are you going to do a how-to? Are you going to do a how-to whatever on Facebook, or are you going to do it on YouTube?
Well, look,
do both. Why not?
That's true. That's true. It just, do you do both and then link to your YouTube video on your Facebook page, or does that mean that if you have the raw video and you upload it to YouTube, it stays on YouTube, and YouTube, of course, is tons bigger than Facebook is for native video, and then you also post it to Facebook. And if we're video content creators, should In30, the video of In30, go on Facebook directly for our 10 Facebook friends, or when you think of it that way, Paul, it does seem like it's a real competitor for YouTube, especially for like PewDiePie or someone, right?
Well, then you have the other problem that pages, for whatever reason, and I don't know where I heard this from, pages are really hard to get into the front page, into a news feed. Because people like a page, but they just like it because their friends told them to like it. Maybe putting a video, I don't know.
So I thought, Paul, did you just start putting In30 on Periscope?
I did.
All right, that's good.
We're just gonna roll with this.
Is it more or less exciting than me sick throwing the ball to my dog?
We were watching Jason Calacanis eat the other day. Right?
I did get someone to watch me eat Greek yogurt for about 3 minutes straight.
That sounds disgusting, and it's probably banned.
The sad part is, here's the sad part. The sad part, we've put this 135 times on Twitter, saying we are live now, you can watch us. And we got maybe one view. We have 0 viewers right now. And Justin would like honor the one viewer that we would always get. Paul goes on Periscope and says, I'm eating Greek yogurt, and gets a few viewers for 15 minutes.
There is something that Periscope seems like it is the ultimate in voyeurism. It's almost like you've opted into having like a little drone fly around your room, because once it gets started, people don't even seem like they remember it's on, and it is like the singularity point for reality television. Actually, it could get worse. But
so are we done with Facebook? Which I hope we are. Can we just move on?
What do you want to talk about, Chaim? I will not have you denigrating Zuckerberg's team of engineers and their major accomplishments over the last year.
No. I just don't think that there's I got it. They're trying to build a bigger user base. They're trying to put these things out. It's great. It's there. I just don't see any to the end user. I want a personal letter like on the Amazon front page from Mark Zuckerberg saying, "Hey guys, what you're going to see is this, and this. Have a nice day."
He is still going to do that. But how about real-time comments, Heim? Is that not good enough for you, Heim? Is that not good enough for you, Heim?
But didn't we have that? I've always had that.
It does seem like they were real-time in the past. I mean, look, I don't even know what this means, frankly, but apparently there are analytics for apps now. I thought there were always analytics for apps. So this is, I don't even, like...
I want to know, Paul, is there SEO for Facebook now? Do you do Facebook SEO?
That's not what I do, but I mean, I assume there's social media optimization.
Like, how do we make sure In 30 gets viewed by all 10 of our viewers on the Facebook site? I want all 10 people to like and to reshare that.
I mean, yeah, there are people that specialize in that.
So Facebook seems like they have the tightest control over any platform, though. I mean, versus Google, which will, could obliterate you Panda style if they want to. But Facebook, like, they own the presentation to the user. So, I mean, this analytics for apps is kind of a big deal. And frankly, I trust Facebook with my data, like, as far as login data and stuff goes, about the same as I do Google. But they added in some wacky stuff too. They have spherical video. They're going to have drone video, and they're going to do teleportation via virtual teleportation via Oculus Rift. They're also doing they don't have Project X. They don't have X Labs like Google does exactly, but they also have these I don't know, these skunkworks type stuff going on.
I mean, Google Plus had all of this. It's just that Google Plus had a weird name where Facebook sounded much cooler.
Pepperidge Farm remembers time. I know. Get yourself an Amish hat. I don't even understand that meme. I don't watch Family Guy. Can someone? You want to make the show interesting, Heim? Paul, explain that meme to me. Is it a Family Guy thing? I don't even know where.
Pepperidge Farm is an old commercial in the early '90s.
Pepperidge Farm. I think. I just don't. Okay, I'll have to go to Meminator or whatever a little bit later. Where are we at on time? I usually ask at 15 minutes without knowing it. It's built.
You're a little late. We have 15 minutes left.
Okay, so you want to obliterate the F8 show and go into Periscope and Meerkat? That's what we have to do now?
I want to just talk about how something that's been around forever and ever got enough traction to make it a thing for all of 10 minutes.
What are you talking about, Harm? Iggy Azalea? I have no idea. What are you talking about?
We're talking about Meerkat. We're talking about right before South by Southwest.
I will officially put down the gavel and we can move on to this topic. First, I would like to say, as you say the two names out loud, Meerkat and Periscope, they're both things like popping up and looking at stuff. That's what a Meerkat does. It's much cuter than a Periscope. Periscope can be kind of interesting. It's like the fact that there were two versions of or two movies about Truman Capote that came out at the same time. Eerie. But what is your point, Heim?
The point is that like I said, we've had this for years. We've had this with Google Glass, and I saw somebody mention this. How if Google Glass had this would be a game changer.
I could walk around with Hangouts Live, Hangouts on Air, whatever it's called now, or was on in my shirt pocket, with my phone all the time. It's not designed for that. In Periscope, you can give hearts to people, Heim.
Well, I haven't tried it yet. But let's first start off with the timeline. Meerkat launches a couple days before South by Southwest. It gains huge traction. I mean, every 10th tweet was a Meerkat. Try this, try this, try this. The night before South by Southwest comes, Twitter says, oh, by the way, we're pulling your authorization to post or to
the access Twitter to card. The API.
Yeah, so that really killed it. But what they were really saying is we're launching a competitor. I mean, the next day or 2 days later.
They chose a winner. They bought a competitor to it. They didn't launch a separate product or something,
And then we're a week out, and Meerkat seems dead. Periscope seems to be doing well, and I just don't see it. I don't really care to watch Paul eat Greek yogurt for 15 minutes.
Well, some people Paul could get paid a lot of money by some very sick people to just eat Greek yogurt all day. But
I mean, has there been a valid Meerkat or Periscope in the last since it launched?
There's been tons.
Paul,
I'm seeing lots of interviews popping up on both platforms, like good interviews with people. There was Jimmy Kimmel did his monologue on it.
How is this
People
different than
are using
Snapchat
it.
video?
Who is
But it's live.
who is the first presidential candidate whose intern is going to make them a Periscope account? That's what I want to know. Does Ted Cruz have a Periscope account?
No, I want a better one. I want the HTC the HTC Periscope looking camera called the RE.
It's a GoPro competitor.
No, it's like it's little like it
just sits on your desk like a little.
It's a little Periscope. It's $100. It's supposed to be like a selfie camera. I want that to get Periscope features. So you can go from there.
Yes, you do not have a better one than what I said. When does Ted Cruz get Periscope? But Paul, you were saying that Jimmy Kimmel jumped on the Periscope submarine.
Yeah, there was a number of celebrities that were doing similar type things.
It shows that there's room for other ways to do live video. I mean, that's what it shows, right? And Twitter is more they started doing the tweets you miss thing, but Twitter is in the now. It's a very kind of be in the moment social media service, at least versus the others. So these little pop-up video things, it makes more sense. The other thing is these are apps that are tailored for your phone. They're only on your phone. It engenders a certain type of video. It's less likely that we're going to do a boring 30-minute tech podcast on Periscope because of that, even though I guess, Paul, you're still broadcasting us on Periscope, by the way.
I gave up. There was no way to do the sound correctly.
That sucks. Okay, right, you can't hear all of us.
Right.
It was just, but I still feel, look, I feel like this is the 15 minutes.
I have an idea. If each of us do a Periscope broadcast of ourselves simultaneously and all of our listeners have 3 devices, then they just put the 3 devices with each of us, on Periscope, looking at them, and there you go. That is the solution. I figured it out.
Well, you see, what I don't understand, here's my problem with it. I'm looking at the tweet. I'm looking at how the tweet gets made. And you have, at least with Periscope, you have live on #Periscope, which is good. Periscope at in30 recording via Google Hangouts. And then I see this really obnoxiously long URL. So I'm clicking on it, and it seems like it takes forever to load. This seems like on a phone or on at least Chrome, it takes 15 seconds to load. That's way too long. I'm already done.
Paul, the interesting thing you say about that is I think the video functionality on Meerkat is far superior than that of Periscope.
You mean the quality? What do you mean by functionality?
The quality and the reliability. I've had a lot of...
Paul, did you find between the 2 apps that these are 2 design studios that really got it, though? Like, the sign-up was really good. The sharing was really good. Like, Periscope, the way it managed the iOS app permissions, it was very clear about it. It said you had to give us, video, audio, and contacts or pictures or whatever it was. And it's just this is app development 3.0. All of the stuff that people had to learn, these guys have learned. These are phone apps only. I don't know. I was impressed at that level.
Well, look, now I went to Meerkat. I searched Meerkat on Twitter.
Well, let Paul answer my question before you steamroll him.
Periscope is a well-designed app. I wouldn't necessarily say the same thing about Meerkat. It's a lot clunkier, although I think it actually works a bit better.
Okay. Han, what are you going to say? What did you do with Meerkat?
So I searched it up, and I said, and I'm just looking, and I get live now, Meerkat, here's a website, and I do like the URL on Meerkat a little bit better because it is shorter. But I click on it, and the first thing it wants me to do is log in. And if I want to watch somebody click, I have to now click on Twitter and authorize the app, put my password in, do all this.
I don't know. I don't. That is so second nature to me. I was talking to a person much good 10 years younger than me, and he wouldn't download an app because he couldn't get it together to remember his Apple ID password. And I was like, you're a little young for that, aren't you?
Yeah, but if you have 2-factor on, it's not a quick thing.
Aren't all of your browsers already authenticated?
No, absolutely not. No.
You sign out of Twitter on your personal computer?
Well, I have a couple Twitter accounts, but the other issue is that I delete all cookies on exit. So I have to re-authenticate all of them.
What are you, insane? What is the possible rationale for that?
I'm just letting That's what
You
I'm
have
running.
no session cookies? I'm going to tell Rivka she better like watch what you're doing online. That doesn't even make any sense. How inconvenient is that? You type
It's
them
not
all.
that inconvenient because I have LastPass already there. I just authenticate to LastPass and it fills in. But there's a difference with the security aspect that none of these companies, I mean, I don't want to say that they need to take into account. But here's the other problem with Periscope. It's not on Android.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Oh.
I don't care about Android.
It'll get there.
I can't. Here's the problem. I can't Periscope with my son because it's not on Android.
You better get in a submarine and use an actual Periscope. I don't know what to tell you. They'll get around to it. Android will, everything has to be duo platform now.
It has to.
Okay, so maybe the thing that's worth considering here, though, that regardless of the video functionality, which is kind of the same across the board, a lot of apps do it. Twitter, this is like the second or third. This is at least the second time, and maybe the third time, where they've just kind of unilaterally and in an anti-competitive way, and in just like an anti-spirit of the internet way, just shut things down and chosen a winner for their platform and not let people at large do it. There's something to that. Maybe it's a Steve Jobs-y way of looking at things, but they did the same kind of thing with TweetDeck, right? I mean, they bought TweetDeck. I don't know if anyone still uses it, but by the way, Chaim, that's how you should handle multiple Twitter accounts, not like.
It runs on Adobe Air, which has security.
There are Google Chrome extensions for TweetDeck, so I mean that argument just completely is irrelevant.
TweetDeck runs in the browser, but
Chaim, it was that's the Adobe Air.
I use Hootsuite, but that's okay.
Okay, all right. So is Twitter? I mean, Twitter's cool with doing this, I guess. They're the big bully now. I think they feel like they have to do it because they don't have the luxury of letting the community at large, make a choice. But then they also every so often do a retrospective on Twitter and tell us how the hashtag was invented by our users. We didn't force it down your throat, I think that's the biggest thing to learn here. It is not nice.
Look, how much Twitter at some point can push their weight around, and I think that they're entitled to do it. They've already shown that they don't care about the old developers who made it great, and they're trying to go in separate directions. And they're saying, you know what? We have data. Let's either monetize it or let's make sure that we're allowing the right people to use it. And if you don't like it, you can leave. You can go start your own Twitter.
I think Kim Kardashian needs to get on Periscope right away. Kim Kardashian on Periscope, Kanye on Meerkat.
I mean, if you take Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, and Kanye West, and you created some sort of other social network like that, and they would have a fighting chance to topple Twitter.
What did you just mention? What did you just go to like Google Zeitgeist?
No, I think they have the top 5. I think they have the top 5.
Okay, yeah. All right, this Taylor Swift Kanye West collaboration. We're gonna get right on that.
90 seconds.
Okay. Well, I promise next episode no one will be sick. I actually shouldn't promise that, but we will figure out what episode number we're at.
I'm right on the episode number, and we're all going to be eating matzah next week.
It's not episode. We have done episode 177 like 10 times. Yes, we will. Yes, next year in Jerusalem, or next in 30 in Jerusalem. I would like to say this though. We can make some bets. Okay, I'll put the F8 thing aside. How long until who will be the first presidential candidate to get a Periscope or a Meerkat?
Well, it's not Ted Cruz.
Well,
Probably Christie. I really like Christie's social networking team.
Yeah, your tax dollars are going to
I got that.
Prop up his presidential campaign. You get a job in the Christie administration, you get like 1.5 times what you would get in the private sector. I mean, it's just, it's absurd, frankly. But Christie's going to have a Periscope. He'll be lucky not to like sit on his phone or something, or like let it get caught in one of his folds. But okay, Paul, which presidential candidate, the first to Periscope?
It can't be Hillary. She's got too much focus on her with the technology thing.
Right, right. She's going to run her own Periscope server.
Right. It's got to be one of the Republican candidates.
I say Rand Paul on Meerkat. That is my guess.
Remember, all the Republicans are or they want privacy. So this is directly going against what
No,
they
it's
believe
not.
in.
It would be directly going against it if the app was built into your phone and you didn't know it. Okay, so I suppose that is the end of episode supposedly 177 of In 30. Thank you for your kind attention.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right.